Hello and welcome to End Step, Maria, Eduardo, and Rich. And wow, some exciting stuff down there for our finals. Eduardo, overall thoughts on the tournament?
We saw a lot of creature-centric matchups, a lot, of board control and having to navigate very difficult board positions. And it was, in a way, also top 8 defined a lot by sweepers. Although Wilson lost in the quarterfinals, Daphne Clarion was a key card and settled the wreckage. Ending the semifinals was a big moment.
All right, fantastic stuff. Our winner is here in the studio live with Brian David Marshall.
Andrew Elenbogen, you're the Pro Tour champion, and watching Luis Mulligan, you seemed more stressed than he was. What's going through your head on those final pre-game preparations?
Yeah, well, see, prior to that point, I was very certain I was not going to win the Pro Tour because LSV is better than me on the play and playing a deck that's substantially advantaged in the mirror. And then as soon as he started mulling, I was like, wait, maybe I'm going to win the Pro Tour. And so I was unbelievably stressed because suddenly it felt like there was everything on the line. And part of that, I was just kind of like, well, I'm probably just going to lose anyway. So it suddenly seemed possible, I guess. That's the best answer I can give. Maybe that makes no sense.
Now, I do want to, you had this opportunity to play against Luis Scott Vargas. You talked to me off camera about the idea of growing up as a competitive player, someone aspiring to get onto the Pro Tour. This was someone you looked up to. This is someone whose videos you watched to improve your game with your friends back in school. Talk to me about what it meant to play against Luis and have this moment against him on the game's biggest stage.
Yeah, it meant everything, honestly. I mean, when I was growing up, literally, I would get into school, literally middle school, and my friends would gather at the lockers, and we would discuss the latest LSV draft video. That's not a joke. That really happened growing up. And to, play against him in a Pro Tour Finals and somehow, some way, against impossible odds win is just, it means everything. And Luis is an amazing competitor. He's a great content producer. He's a great guy. I could not be happier. Yeah, it's unreal.
Tell me who or what you're thinking about at home right now, who's watching you and who's supporting you back home in Michigan.
Yeah, well, I know my mom, she certainly was watching. I hope she's still watching because this is a pretty good moment. And, I mean, many of my friends are on planes right now flying back to Detroit. I missed the flight we were all on. I think I'll live. And so, yeah, I mean, Max McVitie was the primary designer behind this list. I owe him a lot of my Pro Tour success. Everyone who worked with me, the RW guys, the Team Tower guys, everyone. I don't know. That's, I guess, what I have to say.
All right. Well, any advice for people at home who were thinking about picking up this list or playing this deck, maybe at Grand Prix Milwaukee next weekend or on Arena? What advice do you have for people who might try to play this deck?
In the mirror, the most important question is which of the two of you wants the trade and which of the two of you does not want to trade. And that should inform many of your plays. Additionally, if you're playing my list, draw locks on as much as possible.
All right, Andrew Elenbogen, you are the Pro Tour Guild of Ravnica champion. Congratulations. It's been an amazing weekend. It's been a real pleasure to get to know you. And I know you have a lot of friends who didn't leave on flights already, who are very excited to cheer you on. And we're going to let you get over to them right now, sending it back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks so much, BDM. Midwest represent. All right, Eduardo, it's time for the card of the weekend. What have you chosen and why?
I mean, it's really the card that settled the wreckage. Created one of the most amusing moments I've seen on stream for a while.
Amusing and amazing. I mean, it was a stunning sequence. And we've said card of the weekend. It's kind of card of the moment because it was just set up to that perfect turn.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, History of Benalia for me, defined kind of the plane to the top 8, but that moment where Jeremy Dezani has to go, LSV selling it, puts the Adanto, the first fort on the side, starts getting the token. Jeremy having to consider, do I attack or not, deciding, you know what, I have to, and walk straight into Stellar Wreckage, putting LSV into the finals of the Pro Tour.
That's one of the things I love about Magic, too, is that you can have those moments. It's not just chess. Some of it comes down to playing your opponent like that and playing to your best outs.
For sure.
All right, it's time for our match of the day, Tim and Riley.
Well, we would love to talk about the finals as being our match of the day here at the Pro Tour, but unfortunately, we have to go a little bit of that. We're going to have to settle for one of our semi-finals, that, of course, being the match between Luis Scott Vargas and Jeremy Dezani.
I tell you what a moment in Pro Tour history. We are talking about one of the all-time iconic moments in the history of this game. Our brave hero, LSV. He pops on his best suit. He walks Desani around the dealership, and I tell you, he sells him an absolute beauty. Plays him like a fiddle with this immense settle the wreckage. It is the most wreckage I have ever seen settled, Tim. And for that reason, our match of the weekend, our match potentially of the year. This is real, like, oh my God, it's Lightning Helix type stuff here.
And the cool thing is that, like, for it to work out that way as well, we had to have Luis playing very, very tightly in games 1 and 2. He wasn't winning by miles in games 1 and 2. He was winning by inches. That meant that the very final play of that game set it all up perfectly, and we all just got to enjoy it. That was our match of the day.
Thanks, Tim and Riley. And that wasn't the only great match that we had this weekend. I know you were a huge fan of that Kai Budde match that we had versus Seth Manfield. We got a chance to talk to him at the desk, so if you haven't seen that segment, check that one out as well, because lots of great magic there. Overall, Eduardo, looking at like the meta of this whole tournament, Red White Weenie was a story kind of in our top 8, but that wasn't the story of everything.
Right, and here's the thing, right? If you're at home and you're like, what deck should I pick up? The truth is, there were, you know, the lists are published. There were, out of 22 decks that went 8-2 in the standard portion, only 4 are White Weenie decks. Our winner, our Pro Tour champion, Andrew, is one of the only ones actually with an 8-2 record. All of the Pro Tour top 8 was great drafting. 10-0, we have 2 10-0 deck lists. Mono Blue Tempo and Is It Phoenix managed to go on undefeated runs in standard. Fortunately, the booster pack portion, they go so well for those players. But, you know, those lists are available, and it's not just about the top 8. It's about trying to find those hidden gems.
Right, and where you go next, because Grand Prix Milwaukee is just around the corner.
I'll be there.
And standard is going to be great stuff as we move forward. So it's a very open format. Today, though, White Weenie did come to dominate things, and we have the final to talk about, Maria, as well.
All right, Reed and Paul are standing by in the booth to give us a close-up of that final.
All right, hello and welcome. That final, you know, the first 4 games were blisteringly fast, very exciting. Unfortunately, that last game was a little anticlimactic, but I mean, is that super important when you play this matchup, just being on the play?
Yeah, being on the play is huge. Coming out smoothly is huge. Those games tended to be pretty lopsided. The player that established the early advantage usually went on to snowball that advantage and win the game. We saw that on Luis's side with those giant Ajani's Pride mates. That seemed to be his advantage in the matchup. Andrew Elenbogen, however, with his own great curve outs, the Conclave Tribunal, giving him a great fighting chance in those pre-sideboarded games. And yeah, we sort of saw that back and forth until that crucial game 5 where Luis had to mulligan.
Right. Now, kind of the story of this top 8 was, you know, there were 6 decks. They were all Boros decks that made it into the top 8. But as Eduardo alluded to, that wasn't actually what defined kind of the standard environment. If you wanted to play in a standard tournament next week, do you think that there are ways in the format to actually defeat this White Weenie deck?
I do. I definitely do. I think White Weenie has some vulnerabilities, including board sweepers, stuff like Deafening Clarion, a lack of removal. Andrew had those 4 Conclave Tribunals that were great, but it's only 4 cards, so a giant Wild Growth Walker or a Lyra Dawnbringer, those are cards that could be important stumbling blocks for White Weenie. So I think the tools are out there, but this deck is the real deal, and you have to work hard. It's not just a matter of a couple sideboard cards.
Yeah, so we have a Grand Prix next week. What are we looking to play next week if we're going to be playing standard? Would you be looking to play White Weenie deck? I know you're going to be covering it, but would you be looking to play a deck like White Weenie, or looking for something to actually beat this deck?
Well, I'll say this. You could do a lot worse than sleeving up White Weenie. This deck is great. People will be trying to beat you, but not many of them will succeed in it. Okay. So choosing White Weenie would be great. If you're an intrepid deck builder, you could try to brew, have a great sideboard, have a great plan against White Weenie. There's a lot you can do, but that's certainly a deck that's going to continue being highly played and successful.
All right, well, thank you, Reed, for joining us on this Sunday. I know Luis was actually a little bummed out that he wasn't going to be in the booth, but I was like, don't worry, you're going to make it to the finals. Unfortunately, he couldn't take down the title, but he still made it to the finals.
I think he put on a better show for us down there playing.
In the semis? Oh, my goodness, that was an incredible moment. But yeah, thank you, Reed, for joining us. Back to the booth, or desk.
Thanks, guys. So it wasn't only an individual tournament going on this weekend, also it was the start of the team series. So how are our teams doing? BDM, let us know.
Thanks, Maria. I did a little team preview, 8 teams to watch. I've only got 3 of my teams to watch on the big board. There were a lot of upsets here, but, you know, I'm really excited. Obviously, Cardboard Live, Andrew Elenbogen, that big win for him has carried team Cardboard Live to the front of the standings. 55 pro points for the team, 30 of them, of course, coming from Andrew Elenbogen. Haruya Sword, Musashi, and Channel Fireball were all 3 teams that were in my top 8 teams to watch this weekend, and all 3 of them there on top 8 performances. I want to do a shout out for Grey Ogre Games team. I love their logo, but I also love these guys. And Tae-Jun Hao had a great tournament this weekend, making it to the semifinals and pulling his team of players, an APAC team, on the, in the aftermath of Li Shitian getting into the Hall of Fame. Really exciting to see another wave of these APAC players succeeding on the Pro Tour, and Grey Ogre Games. Hopefully they can keep it up throughout the rest of the year, but that's my look at the team standings. Cardboard Live, great job by them this weekend.
All right, thanks, Brian. So final thought from you, Maria. What will you take away from our time here in Atlanta?
Woo, aggro! I'm so excited. I love aggressive decks. I love the decks in the top 8. It's exactly my style, and I'm so happy that they're viable and standard.
Eduardo?
Golden Demise, Ritual of Soot, Fiery Cannonade. Destroy them all.
Destroy them all. Well, Andrew Elenbogen certainly did that. It is time to head down to the feature match area for the award ceremony here from Pro Tour Guilds of Ravnica.
You love that one, didn't you?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the feature match area here in Atlanta, Georgia. We're here for Pro Tour Guilds of Ravnica. But we have some awards, some key achievements from last season to give out before we honor our champion. Your 2017-2018 Rookie of the Year, Sam Ihlenfeldt. Sam, congratulations. You are the Rookie of the Year. Tell us about your journey. You went from a relative unknown on the pro scene and just came bursting, and now you're the Rookie of the Year.
I'm going to just have to thank Andrew Elenbogen, actually, who got me into competitive Magic, Pro Tour champion Andrew Elenbogen. But it's been a really wild ride. Sorry, my voice is a little...
Yeah, what happened to your voice here?
I've been cheering really hard for Andrew. Yeah.
How do you know him? Were you had the same local game store, or?
I was the president of Carleton College's Magic Club, and Andrew Elenbogen was vice president of Carleton College's Magic Club.
So I'm speaking to a president. Wow. Congratulations. Sam Ihlenfeldt, you're our Rookie of the Year for 2017-2018. Next up, this is a big one. Your 2017-2018 Player of the Year, Luis Salvatto. Luis, you had to get Player of the Year the hard way. You had to play a playoff, and that was just a few days ago. Does it feel like a long time from now?
Yeah, I feel like it was like a long time ago, but it was like insane that day. So I'm still processing this thing.
Yeah, I remember reading that you said 3 major goals for you are to win the Pro Tour, to get Player of the Year, and to win the World Championship. You moved one very large step closer to that goal.
Yeah, I'm really close. I never thought about this, but now I'm here and I accomplished 2 of them. So I will try to enjoy this as much as possible and keep playing, and you never know if I can complete the 3 of them.
Which one do you think is the hardest to get?
No, it's really, really hard. Like it will be super good if I can qualify again for the Worlds, and then just try again.
It's only 24 other players. It can't be that hard, right? Ladies and gentlemen, your Player of the Year for 2017-2018, Luis Salvatto. And now it is time to honor your champion of Pro Tour Guilds of Ravnica, Andrew Elenbogen. Andrew, I know we had a word with you earlier. Is there anyone that you want to thank for help getting you here?
I think the 3 people who most deserve my thanks are my mom for always supporting me in everything that I do, Max McVitie for designing this deck, being my constant partner in crime in every Magic tournament I ever play, And finally, I'd like to thank Matthias Hunt for being my Magic mentor when I was up and coming.
Well, congratulations. You are our champion, Andrew Elenbogen.
And so Pro Tour Guilds of Ravnica comes to a close. There you see your champion, Andrew Elenbogen. It's been a terrific weekend here in Atlanta for everyone on the team, and we hope you've had a fantastic time with us over 3 days. You know, we play Magic in so many different ways together. We play at our kitchen tables, at our local game stores, at our Grand Prix, and here at the Pro Tour. Whether you win with the swipe of a finger, the click of a mouse, the turn of a card, the truth is that the thrill of competition is the same. The taste of victory is the same. The ashes of the mulligan to 4 are the same. But sometimes, and you can just ask Andrew Elenbogen, you just can't beat cardboard live.